What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Marriage Talk. I'm Martinez.
And I'm Audrey.
Today, I want to discuss you about communication and how important it is and how effective it can be if you're using your marriage. So, let's get right to it.
Okay, so like has been said, we're going to talk about communication. And so, with this type of communication, we're talking about having a conversation, hearing each other out, and being able to settle differences or come
Yeah.
to an agreement or even come to a compromise. Just different things like that. We're going to tell you what works for us. Disclaimer, we're not perfect. We
No.
still get it wrong sometimes.
That's right.
We still do things sometimes that are not in line with this, but we're trying every day and we've gotten so much better than
Absolutely.
where we are.
Absolutely.
So we're just sharing that with you.
Yes.
So where we started was basically in the toilet. Like, it was awful. Our communication sucked. We did not know how to convey our feelings properly.
We did.
We just didn't know how to do it. It was always yelling and screaming. Every small little thing turned into this big mountain when
Yes,
it
it
didn't
did.
have to.
That's right.
And so we had to figure something out because it was like, we can't keep yelling and screaming at each other every day. Like, this is just unhealthy. So the first thing we did was writing in a notebook. So basically what we mean by that is that we literally wrote our feelings in a notebook.
We did. And y'all say notebook? Yeah. Let me tell you why. Fellas, this is the important key. Trust me. When you write it in notebook, guess what? She cannot say you yelled at her. She cannot say you yelled at her. She cannot say you getting loud. She cannot say she don't like the way you talking to her. She cannot say these things. You know what I'm saying? But the most important key to it is no one is disrespecting no one.
Yeah.
Everybody or both people is writing their stuff down and explaining how they feel.
Yes.
What made them feel like this, why they
Yes.
reacted to this, why they said this. So me and Audrey had to figure out a way how we could communicate because we both are like firecrackers. We both go up. You know what I'm saying? We both pop. So we had to figure out how to do this. One of the key things that we would show that God showed us was write something down in the notebook. And in the morning, what happened was in the morning, she would write hers down. I get off work. I see the notebook on the table. What is this? What do we have here? And I'll look and I'll read all through it. Whole time I'm pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Because she's saying things, but guess what? She's not disrespecting me with her actually mouth. See, she's writing it down. You know what I'm saying? But and vice versa. I was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So that was one of the key things that we learned how to get over this mountain that was just in between both of us. That was just in the way.
And because like with writing it in the notebook, I was able to fully get out my feelings without feeling like, oh, he's interrupting me. Oh, he's not listening. You don't really hear me because that's something that happens a lot. When somebody says something that you disagree with, you automatically want to say, hold on. You want to defend yourself instead of, okay, why do you feel that way?
Yeah.
And so writing it down helped us to say, wait a minute, this is how I'm feeling and this is why.
Yeah.
And then they can then say, okay, all right, let me explain what happened. Let's fix it. But then they can also tell you their side of it, why they reacted or what they feel. So it helps that way. The second thing we did was sort of similar to writing in the notebook. It was kind of like text messaging. So if he was gone or I was gone or we weren't with each other and say we had a disagreement, but we had something we had to do. Like we had to go to work or we had to go to church. You know, you don't want to just leave the conversation because it needs to be dealt with. But at the same time, we're in two different places. So it's not like we can talk face to face or I can give him a notebook.
Right.
So I would text. He would text. It's like, okay, when you walked out like that, it made me feel like this. When you mixed the plastic with the glass, it made me feel like the world was in there. Like whatever it is, you send it, and then it helps you to just get it off of your chest. They can get it off of their chest, and then you can take some time to think about it before you respond, since you're not actively in a conversation. But I will say, in doing this, you can't, and it also keeps you from getting upset.
It does.
When you write it down, when you text it,
it does.
It keeps you from getting upset, and you still show that person love. Like that's another thing with, I feel like communication is still making sure that you show that love when you're communicating with that person. When you're speaking, every time you speak, it should come from a place of love. It's not a place of, I want to get you back.
Right.
You made me mad. You hurt me, so I'm gonna hurt you.
Right. That is definitely not the way. It is definitely not the way to start off your communication level, because you're definitely gonna bump heads. You're definitely gonna come off like, hold on, wait a minute, who you talking to? You know what I'm saying? True. I'm not your mother. Oh, you're not my father. You know, all this X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? You guys was beginning to say things, and then guess what? You realize you said something so hurtful to your person that it's no taking it back. Right. You hit below the belt, and you should have never did it, and you will realize you did it. Like, damn, I messed up. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons of communication. Yeah, and why you want to speak in love. Something else that helped us was literally learning how to listen to the other person. Yes. And what we did was, even if it takes an hour while he's talking, I have to sit there and I have to listen. I may not like it. Yeah. I may be squirming in my seat like, oh, that's not true. Oh, that's not what happened. Oh, no. But I sit there and I fully listen to him. And even sometimes, like, we want to defend ourselves, you take that away, because this is your spouse. That's you know what I'm saying? We're not fighting each other. We're not attacking each other. We're for each other. We're becoming one. So it's like, okay, let me hear what you got to say. I may not like it. I may not agree, but let me hear what you have to say. Let me hear why you're saying this, so we can get to the real root of the problem, and so that we can move forward. So he would sit and talk, and I would listen. Yeah. And for a minute, I would kind of like jot down stuff like, okay, because I got to respond to that. Yeah. I got to respond to that. And then I got to follow up with that. Yeah. It was at that point, but we would just sit and listen, and it was no interrupt. Like, you can't interrupt that person. Nope. You have to let them get their thoughts out, even if they say it 5 times in the same 10 minutes. You have to sit there and let them get it out. You have to. And the key is sitting there and listening. Yeah. See, it's not about, you done yet? Right. You still talking? It's not about it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about your marriage, the foundation, what we've been doing these videos about, building a foundation. One of these foundations is communication. Yeah. It's a stepping stone. Every step is important to take. Every step is important to step on and use. Anytime you try to skip a step, you're going to slip. Yeah. You're going to mess up. Something you're going to miss. So in communicating and talking and listening is very important, because if you don't listen, guess what happened? You interrupt that person. Then that person say, you know what, I'm done. I want to talk about it. I'm gone. I don't need this. You can have this. Take this off. You can. It goes to another level where it don't need to. Yeah. Both people need to be mature enough to say, you know what, I love you. I'm tired of fighting with you. And guess what? Yeah. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to listen to you. Yeah. I'm going to hear you. That's good. I like That's right. And a part of that is laying down your pride. Yeah. Because like I said before, we want to defend ourselves. That's right. We want to be like, oh, I'm done. I ain't got to take this. I ain't got to deal with this. Let that go. Yeah. When you enter into a marriage with a person, you, like we talked about previously with trust, being vulnerable, being able to have that conversation, you lay your pride to the side and say, listen, it was a Tyler Perry movie. He said, what was it? Why Did I Get Married? Part 2, I think it was. He said, you lay down the eyes for us. For us. It's no longer about being independent, me, I'm on my own. It's interdependency. It's us. That's right. So I got to lay down that selfishness, that pride, and say, listen, okay, I don't like what you're saying.
because it makes me look at me.
That's right.
It puts the mirror up in front of me, and I may not like what I'm seeing right now,
That's
but
right.
because I love you and I love me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hear what you have to say, take it into account, like, and just absorb it.
Yeah.
Because I love you. I care for you. I want this to work. You want this to work.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to lay my pride to the side,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to hear you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to say, okay, what can I gain from what he said or what she said? And then I can respond to what you said, acknowledge how you feel, and then I can give my point.
That's right. That's
right.
You
know, because that's something that needs to be done. You have to lay your pride aside, or else it's going to end up causing more problems.
Pride can hurt your marriage. It can hurt your marriage in ways that you never thought it could.
Yeah.
You'll look up and your marriage is in a situation where you like, how did we get here? Mm-hmm. And why are we here?
Yeah.
Or why are we still here?
Yes.
Pride can hurt your marriage. It's a deep-rooted thing. Mm-hmm. It's an unseen thing where a lot of people have a hard time letting go.
Yes.
It's like a little baby, little kid trying to, you know, they got this favorite toy of theirs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in order to gain their trust, how you know they had their trust? They give you their favorite toy.
Mm.
They let it go.
Yeah.
They let it go. And that's the same thing the way God wants us to do. He wants us to let it go.
Yeah.
So he can take care of it.
Absolutely.
See, a lot of marriages would be reunited. A lot of marriages would be healed if people just let go of their pride and give it to God. And that's what we did. That's what I did. I speak for myself. That's what I did. I had a pride thing because I'm the man. Because I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? Well, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I had to understand, like, wait a minute. Pride come before a fall.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Quote scripture right
now. So I had to understand, hey, do I want to fall or I let go of this pride? Exactly. I already let go of this pride. Because we as men hate falling. We hate falling. Yeah. So we rather get by, we rather let go. And me, I did it. I let it go. Sometimes it can still be there, but I'd rather let it go and work it out with my wife. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In spite of anybody else said, I'd rather work it out with her and communicate on a level where it is respectful and it's honorable.
Yeah. And it's like people have this thing where they don't want to look stupid. They don't want to be hurt. They don't want to, people will be like, oh, you dumb for doing this or dumb. No, I'm dumb for getting in a marriage if I'm not going to actually work at it.
Yes.
You know, I love you. Mm-hmm. You love me. That's why we're walking this thing out together. So no, I'm not so prideful. What the song say? Ain't too proud to beg. It's not ain't too proud to beg. It's ain't too proud to listen. I'm going to listen. I'm going to hear you out. And hopefully what you're saying to me will help me become a better version of me.
That's right.
And vice versa.
That's right.
So I just feel like that is one of the major things that helps with communication, because when you have too much pride, instead of listening, you're talking instead of listening. And then nobody gets heard. Nothing gets resolved. Mm-hmm. And then you end up walking away or having problems after problem after problem because nothing is ever resolved. You have this rug that looks like this sitting on a mountain of dirt because nothing ever gets fixed or cleaned up or taken care of. And so that is something that we learn to make sure that we can effectively communicate. Now, we don't have to write in notebooks now. No. We don't have to send text messages, but we do still implement if I'm speaking, you listen, and vice versa.
Yes.
And some people have seen us do it and like, what are y'all doing? And I'm like, I'm listening right now.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But we still do that because it works for us.
It does.
You know, it works for us. And just to kind of go back really quickly to the part where you say that sometimes you can say something and then that person is hurt. And then it takes so much time and effort to overcome that hurt because now that seed is in you. Like, do you really feel that way?
That's right.
Because we have had, conversations that turned into arguments that have gone to a place where it's like, oh my gosh, did I say that? Did I take it to that point? What was wrong? And that's not how you really feel, but you're acting out of your flesh and out of anger. And that's what we want you to avoid because we know that's not a good thing. But overall, communication is key to building trust.
Yes, it
it's
is.
key to building a great foundation
Yes, it
in
is.
your marriage.
Yes, it is. And you definitely want to work on it. It's not something you do one a day, twice a week, 3 times a month, 4 times a year. It's not that. It's a working progress. Every day. That step. And sometimes we as men gotta take that first step. Sometimes we gotta take that first step. And sometimes taking that first step is letting God have the pride.
Yeah.
See, when you learn to let God have the pride, the woman come. Because when she see you don't have pride, her pride come down. One of the times the women get defensive is when she felt like she have to defend herself because she felt threatened. Just being honest. Just being honest.
Well, I hope that the tips that we have given you today help you to effectively communicate in your marriage, but also with your children and in any relationship that you have. So we want to thank you so much for watching this video. We won't leave you again so long without a video, but life happens. But again, thank you so much for supporting us, for watching us. And if there's things you want us to talk about, don't forget to leave it in the comment section below. And I guess we'll say bye for now.
See you.
Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a video.
If you have any questions or topics you would like us to cover, hit us up on Instagram at the official Marriage Talk or email us at marriagetalk.am@gmail.com. Until next time, see you later.